What is up, YouTubers? Therapy Range coming at you live on the YouTube. How the hell's everybody doing tonight? So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, all that good jazz. All right, cool. We got a couple on here. I don't expect a whole lot to jump in, not yet. The channel's still pretty young and pretty new. Oh, I hope everybody's having a glorious night tonight. We're going to talk about a few things tonight that, when I'm working here at my house, I run a home-based business, but when I'm working here at the house, I usually let the YouTube run in the background on the TV through the Fire Stick, just listening. And I've started just, scribbling stuff down that catches my attention. So I figured we'd talk about that a little bit. With cold weather coming up, I'm not going to be able to be on the range quite as much as I would like to be. So we're going to try some more of these talking videos out and see if people respond to them. What it does to the subscribers. Whether it goes up, goes down, what kind of traffic the videos get. If nobody gives a shit about listening to me talk, then I guess I'll just shut up and do shooting videos, and you'll get them as the weather permits. Like, has anybody seen the clip from Congressman Bill Posey, the Republican from Florida? He's on the floor of Congress speaking, and he's given the other congressmen's what for, and at the end of his speech, he's like, "Let's go, Brandon." I thought that was pretty hilarious. We got guys like Rand Paul and Governor DeSantis and Greg Abbott and Bill Posey. And, those are just a handful that come right off the top of my head that are starting to lash back against this government. That kind of tells you something, don't you think? When members of the government are starting to lash back at the machine that feeds them, that to me that speaks in volumes. Now granted, there's not a lot of them that are raising a ruckus against the governmental overlords, but there are some, and it's growing. In 2020 and 2021 we've seen more and more of that. What is it, Marjorie Green, a few others that are pushing back against the agenda and the status quo. But I just thought it was kind of funny that this dude was basically, we all know what "Let's go, Brandon" means. So I thought that was pretty funny, worthy enough to at least talk about for a couple seconds. So what do y'all think about Alex Baldwin? It is this jackwagon. I'm curious. I'm just wondering why in the world live ammunition would be on the set of a movie. That don't make sense. Something fishy going on. And then, why would you be pointing at the gun at the people that you were pointing the gun at? A cinematographer and the director? I don't know. Something smells fishy about this shit. If it don't pass the smell test, if it looks like bullshit, sounds like bullshit, smells like bullshit, more than likely it's bullshit. That's just my 2 cents on that. Me personally, I haven't liked Alec Baldwin for a long time. All of them, these Hollywood elites, they run around here acting like their crap don't stink. I got no use for any of them. Why society puts such a high value on what paid entertainers' opinions are is beyond me. Why people strive to emulate them is beyond me. I mean, to try to strive to emulate their career, that you want that job, that you want to live that lifestyle bad enough that where you become an actor and you go after it and try to accomplish that. But to dress up and run around with teacup chihuahuas in your purse like a Paris Hilton or or oh, there's just so many examples of it that I can't bring one off the top of my head. But it's just sheer jackassery. Um, I don't care what any of these entertainers think. That's why I don't not watch the NFL because of the kneeling thing. I don't watch the NFL because I don't have time to sit around for 2.5 hours watching a bunch of overpaid men play a game. If you've got time for that, then you've got time to be doing other things. You've got time to be doing things with your family, or bettering yourself, or bettering your community. That 2.5 hours that you sit around and watch a football game is the 2.5 hours that you could give to your community to enrich your community more, to where your community doesn't have their hand out wanting the taxes out of your paycheck all the time. What a novel concept. Do things to help enrich the community so the community stays out of your damn pocket. Go figure. I know I'll be called a racist for that. I'm sure Facebook thinks I'm a bully for saying something like that. Now, this whole wanting to monitor our money. Hey, what's up, question mark guy? It's nice to see you on the live. But this idea of these guys, these assholes are wanting to try to set it up to where the IRS gets notified every time $600 moves in your bank account. In the same time, these same people that are wanting this to happen are fucking criminals. And these guys, ain't nobody going to be monitoring Congress's bank accounts. I guarantee you that. You think Joe Biden's bank account's going to get monitored every time $600 moves? And even if it is anybody going to say anything? Of course not. They never have. When any of these other assholes get money over 10,000 and the IRS gets notified because there was a large deposit made into their account, nothing happens then. And you could clearly see when their paychecks deposit. So what's all this extra money coming in from? Nobody cares then, but you're going to turn around and tell me that you're going to examine my bank account every time $600 moves? That's where we, the people, as an act of civil disobedience, need to all unite and come together and take out $601 out of our bank account and deposit it back in every day for a year. Monitor that, bitches. Keep up with that. Enjoy. Congrats. Now, follow up on every one of those transactions. Good luck. It'll put a stop to that shit real quick. It'll put a stop to that shit real quick. But they can count on the government and the media and the handful of assholes that have ideas about our world the way they want it to see it go. They don't really care much about our opinions or how we feel about it. And they certainly don't trust that we can ever organize and come together to put any kind of stop to their tomfoolery. And they have every reason to believe that. I mean, just look at how people behave with one another. We can't agree. You can't get 50 people to agree on what restaurant to go to, let alone running the country or dealing with trade policies or embargoes or treaties or all those things. I mean, the average person is very difficult to deal with. Not all, but the average Joe is not really all that easy to deal with, especially when you're dealing with matters of that size. You ever wondered what a manufactured crisis looks like? If you've ever wondered what a manufactured crisis looks like, look at our supply chains right now. I know a lot of the men that watch probably don't do their own grocery shopping. They have their wives or their girlfriends or someone does that for them. For the men that do, good for you. If you don't, shame on you. But for the men that have been out to the grocery store that have paid, if you know what you're looking at, if you're paying attention and you have any clue of what you're actually seeing when you're looking at them shelves, is you're seeing a crunch on the supply line right now. A significant crunch on the supply line right now. Now in 2019 or 2020, I'm sorry, in March of 2020, when the schools officially closed down across the country to try to protect our children from the um, you remember, right? There was a huge rush on everything, every commodity that was out there, including toilet paper. Remember the big toilet paper rush of 2020? Well, it wasn't just toilet paper. They were buying up everything off the shelves. Anything from toilet paper to propane to powdered milk to cleaning supplies. It took damn near a year to be able to get Clorox wipes back, to be able to go into a store and get that. When you factor in the supply crunch that we're having right now, remember last year in 2020 when the farmers were all killing off their cattle and pigs and chickens, when all that was being taken, when all those animals were being put down and all the calves and pig babies, piglets were being sold off to people for $50 a piece. You just had to be able to get to Wisconsin or whatever state they were in to be able to purchase one, full grown pigs and sows and meat pigs for $80 to $100 a piece. I remember that. I remember seeing the listings all over Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, where these farmers couldn't sell the shit because all the schools were closed down and all the restaurants were closed down so there was a backup of supply. There was an overabundance of supply with almost no demand for it. With the schools being shut down, meat production needed to be cut in half. They just consume a lot. With restaurants being shut down, another big chunk was taken out of the demand. So they were selling off all this livestock last year and killing a lot of it. A lot of it just went to waste because they couldn't afford to keep feeding it. They had to put it down and it was just wasted, composted, used for feed for other animals, whatever. But what's up, Ed? What's up, Donnie? But yeah, I mean, it's a self-manufactured crisis. They killed off all that meat last year. Here we are running into this year, and there's a shortage of it. And I'm telling you right now, guys, anybody that's been to the grocery store that has seen what's going on, what's up, gun guy? That's been to the grocery store to see what's going on, you should understand that we're one crisis away from there being no food. Being able to get your bullshit from Wish is the least of your concerns. Right now, our country, the supply chain is so unstable. We're one crisis away from starvation. That's my assessment on it. Because I tell you right now, if we got out of bed tomorrow and there was another rush on the supply chain like there was in March of 2020 when they closed the schools down, you're not going to be able to get enough food to even survive for a couple of weeks. There's not enough in the stores right now. The last time I was in Walmart and looked at the meat section, if 100 people went in there to get meat all at one time, probably 65 of them would have went home with nothing. There wasn't enough meat in the display for 100 people to purchase it in one day. Now I know that'll vary from area to area, but it doesn't matter because when that food supply runs dry in one area, everybody's going to flood to the next area to find the supply, and that's going to drain that side out. And then it's going to keep spreading and moving and spreading and moving until there's nothing left. And there's not enough trucks on the road. When food starts coming scarce, if you're a trucker and your wife calls and tells you that there's no food in the grocery store, I need you home, that truck's going to get fucking parked. And you're going to go home to be with your family 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times. Fuck that truck. You're going to go home and be with your family, and then the supply line crunches down even harder. And it continues to keep breaking down. I believe this is a manufactured crisis. I believe this was done on purpose with an intended outcome. These cocksuckers knew what they were doing when they told people to start killing off their beef. In 2021, we seen the videos of the farmers all across the Midwest tilling under their crops, spraying them, killing off mass crops. Well, where are you going to get the grain to feed the livestock when they do finally get it replenished? That's going to take a couple of years to replenish all the livestock that they had to kill off in mass genocides and sell it off in mass quantities. That doesn't get replaced in one season. That takes multiple seasons to recover. Well, what happens next season and the season after that when the shortage of grain and feed comes in from all these crops being tilled under in 2021? That's just going to crunch the supply chain down even tighter. Right now, today, I raise my own poultry. I raise my own chickens for my own eggs and a little bit of meat. We subsidize some of our chicken meat with the flock that we have. Right now, today, it costs more to keep them birds alive and feed than they're worth. Right now, I can't sell eggs cheap enough to compete with the grocery stores, even at $2 a dozen, because of the cost of feed. There's no point in it. It's the only reason we continue to keep doing it is to have a healthy alternative to what the stores are offering. The big poultry and big companies like that, the animals it's disgusting. I don't want nothing to do with that shit. I hate it. I wish I could get completely off of the big meat industry altogether. No beef, no pork, none of that shit. Because a lot of people don't realize, just like there's big oil and there's big tobacco and there's big pharma, there's big pork, there's big beef, there's big poultry. Hell, I watched a thing on YouTube the other day. There's even big syrup. I shit you not. Syrup has been cartelled. I shit you not. The bulk of the world's syrup comes from fucking Canada, and the Canadians have put together a union-style organization that has basically turned into a cartel that controls the flow of syrup around the world. I shit you not, you can't make this up. I am dead serious. Look it up. It's the Canadian Syrup Federation. I shit you not, guys. It's real. It's real. There's a cartel for syrup. Everything substantial has been organized and turned into a lightweight cartel. Whether it be automotive, fuel, whatever. If it's big, it's a cartel. It's that simple. Period, end of paragraph. A handful of people with enough money and power monopolize the wealth and power within the structure and turn it into a cartel. They even openly admit it. They say it's to keep the prices regulated. That's what cartels do. The only difference is they're not out here breaking people's knees over it yet. But according to that documentary I watched on the Syrup Federation, they may not break your knees, but they'll sure as shit cut your balls off. I guess the last thing I'm going to talk about tonight before I jump off of here is that everybody needs to learn some way of becoming self-reliant. I realize that, people that live in the city, people that live in condos and apartments and even trailer parks. Yeah, I mean, it is becoming that way, Ed. Even being self-reliant is becoming a stigmatism. Absolutely. I seen something where the FBI have actually made statements on people that are hoarding food or prepping or potential problems. And they're probably right. They're probably right. But my advice to everybody is to learn some form of sustainability, regardless of whether you live in a condo or whether you live in the city. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a marksman. The guy that knows how to make leather is a useful guy. The guy that knows how to cure meat, or the woman that knows how to can without conventional methods, is a hell of a person to have in your circle. The guy that knows how to make a still to be able to distill alcohol, a good person to have in your circle. The person that knows how to create gunpowder, that knows the recipe and the ingredients and how to make them and mix them to do those things, is a good person to have in your circle. I'm sure I do too, Ed. I mean, I would be kind of upset if I'm not at least on some sort of a list at this point. It almost hurt my feelings. Fuckers. uh, but I'm talking about more than just fire starting or shelter building. Tracking is a good one, to actually be able to do it, not just say you know how to do it. Um, let's see what else, building, engineers, having some sort of understanding of engineering, mechanics, carpenters, people that have real skill set values. Those are the people that are going to be valuable. And you've got to ask yourself, are you that person? What's your job now? Because the accountant at insert company name doesn't really hold a lot of value in a world that doesn't work today the way today's world works. If we look at a world change, if we look at how the world could change and how things could potentially work afterwards, what is that degree from MIT going to do you, if you can't run a fucking hammer and nail, if you can't read a tape measure, if all you ever did was sit in a classroom and run on CAD or computer simulations on how to build, it doesn't do you one fuck all bit of good in the real world if you can't pick up a saw and make a straight cut. Just telling you the truth, dogs. That degree don't mean fuck all. You can be a world-renowned chef, but if you can't go out in the woods and bring back something to fucking eat without killing it, it doesn't matter how good of a chef you are, Gordon Ramsay. If you can't go out in the woods and get a bunch of shit that you just found laying around and bring it back and make it edible, that culinary degree don't mean fuck all. You've got to know things that will make you useful. That way, people that have other skills will want you to be a part of their group, and you can have all your needs met. Because nobody is ever going to be able to prep enough food. You can't hoard, you can't prep to have food forever. You have to be able to be reliant and able to produce more food. You can have all the canned foods in the world. You can have semi-truckloads of canned foods, dried goods, etc. Eventually, that shit's going to run out. Eventually, that shit's going to go bad. Eventually, somebody's going to find your stash and take your stash or kill you in the process of taking said stash. But if you know how to grow your own, if you know how to create your own, if you can take a 42 bird egg incubator and turn that into a lifetime supply of free food, that's valuable. I would want that person in my circle of friends. I would want that person on my team if shit was to go completely bad. If the world was to change in a drastic way, what will make you valuable to the people around you that you choose to go and hold up with? Because everybody in the prepping community's got an idea. I'm going to go hold up here, or I'm going to hunker down here, or my plan is to do this. But ultimately, other than bringing a carload of canned goods and bullets, what is your long-term survival plan? How do you become beneficial to everyone around you within your new community in a new way that the world works? That's something for you to think about. Well, it doesn't matter though, Ed. You can download and you can print and you can have all the information in the world. Your brain can only retain so much of it. And you don't have time to research everything. When it comes to crops and this shit, you don't got time to spend weeks digging through piles of research material to find the data that you need to help you. You need people in your circle that know that you don't plant your shit until after Mother's Day, or you run the risk of having a frost. You need people to know that, because if you don't know to look in your journal to see that, if you don't know to ask that question, then you starve. all your plants died and now you're fucked. That's why you need people in your circle. Absolutely, you can find the abilities to learn how to make stills even in the apocalypse. But wouldn't it sure as hell be easier to have somebody in your circle that knows that could just, hey, I need this, and this, and I can have a still together in a couple hours. We can be cooking by morning. I just need the stuff. Yeah. And I'm not saying for myself, I'm talking about for the people that are out there that have no skill sets. For the college graduate that just graduated from insert school name with a degree in political science and psychology, that don't know fuck all about fuck all, that has never set foot outside of a major city. That cat, if he wants to survive, needs to learn some skills that will make him valuable in a situation like that. I'm not worried about myself. I have skills. I know how to survive, and I know how to be valuable. I got my side. But there's a lot of cats out there. I would say it'd be safe to say millions of cats out there that don't have a clue what to do if they go to the grocery store and the doors are locked. They don't have a clue. They don't know. They've never been in that. They've never even thought about that situation before. Never crossed their minds before because it's never had to. Everything's been so easy over the last 100 years that it's not been something that was necessary. Yeah, I'm doing well. I agree with the non-GMO seeds, but ultimately, seeds are seeds. As long as you have some, getting the non-GMO heirloom seeds is well, it's a little expensive. It's not too awful bad, but it does get expensive when you start buying a lot of them. We garden here and at my little here at Therapy Range. I got a garden out here. We do our thing. We can a few things. But getting large amounts of non-GMO heirlooms it's a challenge, and I'll tell you one thing that I've noticed from our garden is it doesn't matter whether I plant an heirloom or whether I plant a hybrid. When that fruit drops and leaves a seed in the soil, the following year I get a plant that grows like crazy. The best plants that I've ever seen grow out of my garden were the volunteers, the ones that just where the fruit fell, a seed managed to survive the winter and the insects and the decomposition, and come the following summer, here comes a plant out. Those have been the best producing and the hardiest plants that I've ever seen grow in my garden was from the volunteers. And from what I understand, I mean, I didn't think that the hybrid, the genetically modified stuff, I didn't think that stuff was supposed to be able to produce fruit off of the seed from the fruit, that it would mutate and it wouldn't work right, that you would get deformed or non-growing, non-fruiting, non-flowering. So I'm a little surprised by that. But, I mean, I had tomato plants this year that took off that we didn't plant. We had peppers that took off. We had beans that took off. We had all kinds of volunteers take off in the garden this year that we didn't plant any of that stuff. I mean, we planted similar, but that stuff was all volunteer. It was coming up in places that we didn't put starts. That good old Mountain Dew. I tell you what, that's what I'd miss the most. Yeah, we had some sunflowers. Yeah, we planted sunflowers this year. She did the short ones this year. Last year we did the 14-foot mammoths. Those suckers were huge. But anyway, the idea of the day is to become reliant in some way. If I know a lot of the people that'll watch this are already reliant, and I'm obviously not talking about you. If you're already self-reliant, if you've already created self-value skills, then good for you. I'm obviously not talking to you. But there's lots and lots and lots of people out there. And especially if you're still watching 30 minutes in to me running my moneymaker, walk away with a little piece of advice to create some sort of reliable skill set that will make you valuable in a world that doesn't work the way ours works today. I mean, picture a world without the internet, picture a world without grocery stores, the conveniences that you currently have, and create a skill set that makes you valuable no matter what the scenario is. Right, right. Well, that's what I'm getting too. That's exactly what I'm getting is hybrid perennials. It's crazy. I know, right? All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce off of here. Um, I got a video coming up. We're supposed to be getting some rain tomorrow and the next day. We're going to be doing some glue slugs. I took some 12 gauge shells and made up some shot plus various types of glue and mixed it back in. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. You're tardy to the party, man. You got to get here sooner, dude. No. I mean, leave comments, hit thumbs ups, hit the subscribes. If you guys like the lives, I'll keep doing the lives. I mean, so far, I don't think we got over 6 people watching this video. The last live, the first live that I did, I think is sitting around 50 views. So that's not really all that much incentive, but maybe it'll grow. I don't know. We'll see. Live your life to the fullest, guys, because anything less is an injustice to yourself and every damn person around you. Stay free, America.